The Palestinian Human Rights Monitoring Group documents violations committed against Palestinians and dedicates much of its work to the monitoring of violations committed by the Palestinian Authority. Besides torture, what are the most serious human rights violations perpetrated by the Palestinian Authority?
The capital punishment, as an example. Since the coming of the Palestinian Authority in '94, until today, we have 68 Palestinians who has been sentenced to a capital punishment. 6 of them already executed, and the other 62 still waiting. Just recently, 2 weeks ago, we heard that Mr. Abbas transferred 51 names to the Palestinian Mufti to sign and to ratify the capital punishment. And I think that will bring a very big storm against Mr. Abbas, who is speaking all the time about democracy, about civil society, about human rights, and about pluralism. So is such step, if it will be taken by Mr. Abbas, that means that the Palestinians still has a very dark future towards democracy and towards human rights.
Most people tend to view the conflict in the Middle East in simple terms: Israel versus Palestinians. But because of the social diversity, the political divisions, there is an increasing Palestinian infighting, the so-called intifada, which tends to be a little bit overlooked. Can you talk about it?
It is right that since probably 3 years ago, the occupied territories becomes as a kind of a chaos. The armed Palestinians are committing crimes against their own people. Since the beginning of this intifada until today, over than 320 Palestinians has been killed in the occupied territories by Palestinians. There was no investigations, there was no arrest, there was no trials towards those armed people. And that's because the illegal weapon in the hands of the armed Palestinians. And we demanded the Palestinian Authority since many years ago that is such kind of illegal weapon will be one day directed against the Palestinians themselves. And this is what's really going on right now.